You know life has a way of throwing you off your game, doesn't it? Just take it from me. My name's Elijah Hawthorne, and I used to be a man who had it all, a thriving real estate empire, a family that was the bedrock of my existence. I thought I had everything figured out until one day everything I cherished slipped right through my fingers like sand. Just imagine waking up one morning and realizing your wife and her lawyer boyfriend had orchestrated a plan to take not just your money, but your dignity and your children's respect. It's a gut punch you never see coming. I remember feeling the world closing in around me, lost in a whirlwind of despair, wonder, and rage. The whispers started, two friends turning into strangers, and betrayal lurking behind every corner. I used to believe in love, in loyalty, and in the notion that hard work secures your legacy. But as I stood on the edge of losing everything, I found myself grappling with crushing loneliness. The man I had grown into felt like a distant memory, just a shadow of the father and husband I had aspired to be. And just when I thought it was all over, the final blow that crushed me to my knees, life had the audacity to offer me a glimmer of hope. A dusty old box I'd overlooked for years, sitting silently in the back of my closet. Within it lay a forgotten bank passbook belonging to my grandfather. Little did I know this chance discovery would be the twist that turned my entire narrative around and led me back from the brink. It started with a whisper, just a thread barely noticeable. My wife, Camilla, would laugh a little too long at her phone, her eyes lighting up in a way I hadn't seen in years. I brushed it off, chalking it up to the pressures of running our businesses, the little stresses that came with success. But deep down, a gnawing feeling began to settle in, persistent and unyielding like a storm cloud gathering on the horizon. Then one chilling evening it happened. I returned home early, excited to surprise her with takeout from our favourite place. As I stepped into the living room, I overheard snippets of a conversation that turned my gut to ice. Just give him what he wants. Ethan. He won't fight back. I froze, every muscle tensing as I strained to hear more. Ethan, her lawyer boyfriend, was orchestrating a betrayal that shook me to my core. Were we ever real, Camilla? I yelled, staggering into the room, my heart racing. Her smile vanished, and for a moment she looked like a stranger. How could you do this to me? I managed to choke out. And there it was, that flicker of disdain in her eyes. The laughter that once warmed our home now turned sinister. You've always been so naive, Eli. It's not personal. It's just business. Just business. The words ignited a wrath inside me, hotter than the shame wrapping around my chest. I had sacrificed everything for us. The late nights building my empire, every hour was for this family. I hadn't just lost my fortune. I was on the brink of losing my dignity, stripped bare by the very people I trusted most. In that moment of heartbreak, as disbelief settled in, I felt my resolve harden. I would uncover the truth, no matter the cost. It was time to take back my life, step out of the shadows of betrayal, and show them who Eli Hawthorne really was. You know, when you're at the bottom, it feels like the universe has a cruel sense of humour. Right? I mean, I thought I'd hit rock bottom after the divorce. But oh no. There I was, sitting in that cramped motel room, counting my last pennies and trying to make sense of my life. I was like an old car stuck in the mud. No matter how much I revved my engine, I just couldn't get out. The legal bills piled up, And every time I turned around, there they were, Ethan's smug face, looking like the cat that got the cream. I swear the whole thing felt like some twisted soap opera. I tried to reach out to friends, but suddenly it was like I had become radioactive. You know that moment when you spill wine at a party, everyone freezes slowly, backs away, and pretends they didn't see anything? Yeah, that was me. My own kids sided with their mother, convinced I was the villain in this melodrama. It stung, and truthfully, I spent nights wondering if I was the villain or just the guy who got caught in a bad script. And the courtroom. Oh, the courtroom. It was a circus. Ethan was the ringmaster. All I had were my memories of better days and a pile of evidence that seemed to disappear into thin air when I needed it most. I could almost hear the gavel echoing my defeat, drowning out my last hopes. But somewhere between the overwhelming chaos and the public doubt, there was this tiny flicker of determination. You know that moment when you're pushing against the tide and you feel like you might just drown? But then a wave of defiance washes over you. Yeah, that kind of defiance. I wasn't done yet. Even as everything crumbled around me, I clung to that bitter laugh, because sometimes sarcasm is the armor we wear before we suit up for battle. It was time to reclaim my story, and boy, was I about to rewrite it. In the dim light of his motel room, Eli stared at the bank passbook, his heart a drumbeat of disbelief. 127 million. A rush of emotions flooded him. Shock, hope, anger. It felt like a jolt of electricity igniting something deep within. But even as that number danced before his eyes, shadows loomed. Was it a mirage? Would it all vanish like vapor? He closed his eyes. Memories surged, images of past family dinners, laughter echoing through the hall. With a clenched fist, he fought against tears. No more despair, he whispered. And then a quiet clarity emerged. This wasn't just about money. It was a chance to reclaim his life, to rewrite the narrative. For too long he'd been a pawn, a victim. But now he had power. He took a deep breath, filling his lungs with determination. What would he do next? One step at a time, he decided. First, he would hire a fighter, the best legal expert he could find. No more playing defense. It was time to go on the offensive. The thought ignited a spark, a fire deep inside that he didn't know could still burn. Each day he sculpted a plan, gathering evidence, strategizing, and preparing to confront Ethan. It wouldn't be easy, but Eli felt the weight lift. He wasn't broken anymore. He was rising. And with every heartbeat, he could feel the world shifting. A force was building inside him, unyielding. Eli was no longer just a man without a fortune. He was a storm gathering strength, ready to reclaim what was rightfully his. Justice was coming.
Så.
As the clock ticked toward the hour of reckoning, the boardroom buzzed with a palpable tension. Eli took a deep breath, standing at the head of the polished mahogany table surrounded by his new legal team, a group of top-tier experts who understood the intricacies of his case. The room echoed with murmurings of strategy and resolve, but all Eli could hear was the steady drum of his own heart reminding him of all that had been lost and regained. The coffee pot steamed in the corner, but it couldn't warm the palpable chill of anticipation in the air. Eli's mind drifted back to the dark days in the motel, the moments he felt utterly defeated. But today was different. He was no longer the broken man who lost everything. No, he was ready to turn the tide. Suddenly his phone buzzed, pulling him back into the moment. It was the call he had been waiting for. Eli. "It's done," his lawyer said, a tone of satisfaction blending with urgency. "Camilla and Ethan are in custody. They're at the party, surrounded by friends, oblivious to the storm about to hit them." A quiet smirk grew across Eli's face, a blend of triumph and humility. He was not savouring revenge, but steadily reclaiming his life. He could picture the moment vividly, the glittering halls of the party laughter ringing out, then shattered confessions, sobering truths laid bare. As the news hit the papers, bold headlines screamed of betrayal at the hands of those who once feasted on his downfall. The faintest flicker of satisfaction danced in Eli's eyes when he read local businessman exposes fraud, knowing the truth had finally triumphed. Walking away from the chaos, Eli felt lighter, his burden shifting to the back of his mind. Yet he knew the scars would remain. Success couldn't erase them, but they had become tokens of strength earned through hardship. Every struggle carved deeper lines of wisdom into his soul, a reminder that resilience is forged in the flames of adversity. This moment was not just about wealth regained. It was a testament to the power of integrity and moral clarity, setting the stage for the journey ahead. As I reflect on this journey, it's clear that I, Eli Hawthorne, have transformed in ways I never anticipated. From the depths of despair, where betrayal shattered my sense of self, I've emerged with a newfound understanding of power trust and the dark allure of revenge. At first, all I wanted was to reclaim what was taken from me, to bask in the satisfaction of seeing Camilla and Ethan face the consequences of their actions. But through every painful moment, I realized that true victory is not always about retribution. It's a complex truth, isn't it? Revenge can taste sweet, yet leaves a lingering bitterness in the soul. In my pursuit of justice, I found something more profound, the power to transform my pain into purpose. Launching the Frederick Hawthorne Foundation has shown me that helping others heal is far more rewarding than any act of vengeance could ever be. So I pose a question to you. Is revenge ever justified, or is it merely an excuse to lose ourselves in anger? As I navigate this new chapter alongside my children, rebuilding those fractured bonds, I've learned that the essence of wealth lies not in the dollars amassed, but in the love shared and the lives touched. What do you think are the costs of revenge worth the fleeting satisfaction it provides? Share your thoughts, your experiences, your stories in the comments below. The conversation is a powerful one, and I can't wait to hear from you.